What's going on, everybody? It is I, your girl, Timmésha Burgess. I should say your woman of substance, Timmésha Burgess. Get rid of that girl part. Anyway, welcome to Fireside Chats for Global Women, because turning pain into power is sexy. And here we dive into all things that are considered taboo, unorthodox, spiritual, regarding our mental health, our personal development, and the education about ourselves as it relates to our sexuality. Okay, listen, I want to dive into this iconic scene from the Cosby Show. The name of this scene is titled Elvin's Outdated Views or Beliefs About Men and Women's Roles in Society. Now, this has been coming back up. I mean, we're in 2023 and we're still discussing roles, human roles between the dynamics of men and women. And I know there's a lot of rhetoric going back and forth, especially with the insight that Andrew Tate shares too. Shouts out to Andrew Tate. I respect a lot of what you say. A lot of it resonates and a lot of it does not. This goes down to personal opinion. Some stuff it's like, yeah, that's spot on, that's powerful. And other stuff it's like, that's more personal than I am willing to accept in my own life. At the end of the day, everybody, it is up to you and what works for you in the world that you are creating for yourself. And not everybody is going to align with what your beliefs are. The thing is, we're not here to attack anybody about their beliefs and how they choose to live their lives. I, for one, have my way of doing and being and thinking about things. And so if what I share here on Fireside Chats for Global Women resonates with you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Please like, please share this video. Without further ado, let's dive in. I'm going to give my little 2 cents and I'm going to dive in and break it down bit by bit, just on parts that stood out to me. If you like this, make sure to comment below. Let me know what your perspectives are, what your takeaways are. Without further ado, let's get into it.
You and Dr. Huxtable like some coffee?
Coffee?
What I like most about this scene is that she didn't assume that Mr. Huxtable, her husband, wanted coffee. She asked, would you and Dr. Huxtable like a cup of coffee? A lot of the times I think we assume that this role of what we think serving means you automatically just jump into this role. She asked, would you and Dr. Huxtable like some? I just love that. I don't know. I think that was a really important point to point out. Okay, let's keep going.
Coffee?
Yeah, coffee.
You mean you're gonna get it?
Yes? You're surprised?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Huxtable. I didn't think you did that kind of thing.
You see here how he makes the assumption that she didn't do that type of thing. Mainly, Mrs. Huxtable, also Dr. Huxtable, because she was a doctor of psychology, right? There's an assumption that women who are professional, who have careers, automatically are deemed as being so career focused that they no longer have the mental space or the emotional space to be available in their personal lives. For him to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't think you did that kind of thing, was an automatic assumption that because she is a woman who is in her personal power, who is in her professional power, that she doesn't know also how to be catering or how to be available emotionally or romantically in her home life. It's none of anybody's business if she is or isn't, but to make the assumption that because she's a professional woman, that she also doesn't know how to be personal. That's the first assumption. Let's keep going.
What kind of thing?
You know, serve.
Serve whom?
Serve him.
You see here how Dr. Huxtable is putting his face in his hand like he doesn't know what he's getting himself into. I love it. I love confident men who are confident in their woman's ability to speak for herself and speak up for herself. See how he just sits down and shut up and is like, You don't know. That's the thing I loved about the Cosby Show, is they both respected each other in their own individual power. So Dr. Huxtable here is sitting back and letting her handle it for herself. He didn't even get involved because he knows that she can handle it for herself, and that Elvin is in for not a rude awakening, but an awakening, to say the least. I love it how he sat back and just let her handle it because he knows that she knows how. Okay, let's keep going.
Oh, serve him! As in serve your man?
Well, yeah.
Let me tell you something, Elvin. You see, I am not serving Dr. Huxtable, okay?
Okay.
That's the kind of thing that goes on in a restaurant.
So when I look up the word service, and I'm just Googling it, this is what it says: to perform duties or services for another person or organization, similar to work for, to perform duties, to be employed by. The reason Mrs. Claire, also Dr. Huxtable, says that I'm not serving, that's the sort of thing that goes on in a restaurant, meaning that is a role of duty. That is a position of employment. I am not employed to my husband. I am not in duty to my husband. I am offering to him just the way that he offers to me. Words have so much power, and just using the word service as it relates to a romantic dynamic, as it relates to a husband and wife relationship, is to me and to so many a slap in the face of the power that not only the woman possesses in the relationship, but that the man possesses in the relationship. I am not your servant, right? He is not my servant. We offer to each other. This is not an obligation. This is a privilege and a desire that I want to offer and extend. Not because I am your wife am I obligated, but because you deserve it. And you're not deserving because you are my husband and I am your wife. You are deserving because you have proved to me and have proven to me and continue to prove to me that you are worthy, that you're deserving, just as I am proving to you that I am worthy of your continued offering. Okay? So positions and titles have nothing to do with it. It is your act and your demonstration and your selflessness and your beingness that proves to me that you are deserving. Let's keep going.
Now, I'm going to bring him a cup of coffee just like he brought me a cup of coffee this morning. And that, young man, is what marriage is made of. It is give and take 50-50.
Okay, so let's really dive into this part. She said, I'm going to bring him a cup of coffee just like he brought me this morning. Had nothing to do with him being my husband or me being his wife. He brought me a cup of coffee. I'm going to bring him a cup of coffee as well. And I'm not bringing him a cup of coffee just because he brought me a cup of coffee. This is just a demonstration that we are both offering to each other because both of us are deserving, right? But I really want to break down this part where she says that's what marriage is about. It's give and take 50-50. So many people, again, have taken this 50-50 thing out of context as well. Clearly, and I don't know why we still have to explain this type of thing, but clearly there are physiological differences between men and women where some things are impossible to be 50-50, right? My man will physically be able to pick up that TV without a problem. Me, on the other hand, because of my physiological makeup, I obviously would not be able to do that. So in cases like this, we have had so many people, I've heard so many people say, well, if it's 50-50, then the woman can do what the man can do, and the man can do what the woman can do. You know what? Let's not keep having these very simple-minded, surface-level arguments. Ladies, I'm going to talk to you. This is Fireside Chats for Global Women. If you're having to debate or have a conversation with a man about 50-50 on shit that should just be common sense, run. Okay, I've heard people have arguments about, well, if it's 50-50 and the man makes more and the woman makes more than the man, or they make the same, then this 50-50, it doesn't matter how much the woman makes. If she makes $20,000 a year and the man's $100,000, it's still 50-50 because that's what women want, right? Ha ha, well, 50-50. Get away from those type of men. Okay, we're talking about common fucking sense here. Let's keep going.
And if you don't get it together and drop these macho attitudes, you are never going to have anybody bringing you anything, anywhere, any place, anytime, ever. Now, what would you like in your coffee?
Okay, so I just adore this part. When she finished sharing with him and enlightening him, as I like to say, she asked, now, what would you like in your coffee? You see, she never relinquished her femininity. She was able to bridge together both her alpha feminine and her alpha masculine. She was able to bridge together both her masculinity while still maintaining her feminine power, right? Even after having to enlighten him and having to, go there, okay? She had to go there with him. She was still able to say and ask, now, right? What would you like in your coffee? She was still able to be in the position to offer. She still offered to offer. I love how she was able to express what it looks like to be both in your masculine energy and your feminine energy, and they both be healthy and necessary without hurting any feelings, but just going there. And had she hurt his feelings, he probably would have been too prideful to say she did. So that wasn't her aim, of course. The aim was to open up his mind and get him to drop that toxic part of his thinking. Or I don't even know if it was toxic thinking. A lot of it stems from the way that Elvin is raised, right? If you look at the previous scenes of this particular episode, Elvin talks about how his mother didn't work, how his father did all the working and his mother stayed home and cooked and took care of the kids. So I can't say that things are toxic. Some things are just how folks are raised to believe. But as we grow into adulthood, it's really important that we evolve our thinking and the way that we view not just ourselves, but the way that through our thinking and the way that we were raised, how that can negatively or positively affect our view and our perspectives in life, and how we can try to impress our views and ideas on other people that may not be healthy. So I won't say that it was toxic. I'll say that he is a reflection of his environment. Let's keep going.
Maybe I could get you some coffee.
Dun, da, da, da. Oh, I feel and hear like a golden light going on, like his crown of enlightenment has been activated. I swear, when I look at that scene, I could see his third eye lighten up and a golden crown just be placed on his head from the ethers, from the ancient ones, because he finally got it, right? I love it when he says, maybe I can get you some coffee, right? So he has evolved out of this way of thinking to say, oh, you the woman, I am man, you are woman. And he evolved out of this caveman thinking and flips it and says, shoot, maybe I could get you some coffee instead of me thinking that you should be serving me. I could be offering to you, right? I just love that scene. Basically, it's a demonstration and it's symbolic of the fact that the light has been turned on within Elvin, and he realizes that it's okay for both to share in offering to each other, for the male to also offer to the feminine, that it just isn't on the feminine to do all of the domestic lifting and doing that. Hey, shoot, let me get you some. I just love the flip of the script. It went from him viewing her as a servant to him viewing her as somebody worthy to be served. I just love that the writers, Mr. Cosby and whoever else was around the Cosby Show team, were able to flip the script and demonstrate that the light had turned on, the enlightenment had happened, and he realized that not only is she in position to offer, but is worthy to be offered to in return. Let's keep going.
Oh, but that's all right. I don't mind getting it, but thanks for offering.
Lastly, but certainly not the least, she says, I don't mind getting it. And she proceeds to fix Elvin and Dr. Huxtable a cup of coffee. So the summation of this for me, again, just demonstrates how Claire Huxtable was able to be in her feminine and her masculine energy. There were no hard feelings. She still went into offering. He was able to be enlightened and activated. And I think towards the end of that scene, Dr. Huxtable says, Elvin, when she brings the coffee back, I suggest you don't drink it, right? Of course, they had to add that bit in there. But just a summation, ladies, for those of you here in Fireside Chats for Global Women, when I say my ladies, I mean those of us biologically born as women that I'm here for and with us. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this opens up your eyes. I've seen so many videos and just arguments and debates going back and forth with folks still talking about roles of women and men and all of this type of stuff. And really, at the end of the day, it's to each his own. Ladies, if you enter into a relationship where you just want to do the domestic stuff and you don't want to work, and you have attracted a man who expects certain servitude characteristics from you because you're not working, if that works for you, then do it. hey, it works for the both of you, fine. That's nobody's business. I just love the Cosby Show because she was able to be a career woman, and not just be a career woman. She was good at what she did, right? It wasn't about her she didn't just have a job. She had a profession. She was a licensed professional who had people that depended on her. And so to me, Claire Huxtable wasn't holding a position just because she just wanted to work. This wasn't about working. This was about her being in a purpose-filled position to where people's lives depended on what she had on the inside of her. A lot of us got this whole idea of a woman's rights, meaning that we just wanted to work. That has nothing to do with it. For me, just my own perspective, a lot of us women are born with very particular abilities. A lot of us have come to this planet because we have certain missions to fulfill. And it wasn't just to have the right to vote and to get jobs. Our missions are much more profound than that. Some of us have missions as healers, as empaths, as intuitives, as physicians, you know? So it's important that we not only talk about women being employed, but women who are in their purposeful missions on earth, women who have powers on the inside of them that they are supposed to be sharing with the planet. So anyway, she was a depiction of a woman who was able to be in her purpose-filled position and power in her professional life, and also be able to, be in a healthy, committed, loving, monogamous relationship with her doctor husband, who respected who she was, respected what she had to offer, respected what she had to teach, and even teach him. He never silenced her. He never was intimidated by Mrs. Huxtable, who she was. If he was, he never would have asked her to marry him. And with that being said, if you ever have any questions about a woman's role or a man's role in your romantic relationship, baby, to each his own. But never, ever think that it is a requirement that you have to relinquish your power, your purpose, your femininity, or your masculinity. Any man that enters into your life will love, respect, cherish, and be turned completely on, I mean aroused, by the fact that you are not only beauty, but that you are beast. See you next time. Ciao for now.